What's up guys, it's your boy Kazaris, back with another fun little deck profile. Actually a few fun little deck profiles. We have a new box coming out. I have a ton of lists for you guys. I am not regarding any of these as gospel. None of these are set in stone. I was just brainstorming ideas over the past day and this is what I came up with. I think they're pretty solid, but time will tell as always. I mean, the box isn't even out yet, so can't really test that well. So we shall see over the coming days and weeks how it does after the box comes out, but these are the few lists that I have. So we got the brand new Star Seraphs, Scepter and Sovereignty, also known as Stick and Chair. So these cards are very good because they make 3 material rank 4 Xyz very easily and also draw you a ton of cards. So the combo is when you have Star Seraph Scepter in your hand and Star Seraph Sovereignty in your hand. You need both. You can normal summon Star Seraph Scepter. When it's normal or special, you can add any Star Seraph monster from your deck to your hand. So you'll go Chainlink 1 Scepter, Chainlink 2 Sovereignty in your hand, chair. If you normal or special summon a Star Seraph, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, draw 1 card. And then if it's a Star Seraph monster, you can special summon it. So you'll go summon Scepter, Chainlink 1 uses the effect to search. Chainlink 2, Chair's effect in hand. You'll summon Chair and draw a card. It doesn't matter whether or not it's a Star Seraph. Normally in TCG, since you have 5 zones, you can summon it, but like in Duel Links, you probably just want to keep it in your hand. And then you'll search another Chair with Stick's effect. And now since you summoned, I'm not exactly sure why is ruled this way. I just know this is how you do it. I can't explain why. It's still a little confusing to me. Since you summoned a chair before resolving the Sticks effect, now that after you search a chair, you technically summoned a Star Seraph, so you can now special summon the chair that you just searched to draw another card. And now you have 3 level 4 monsters on the field, and you can make a Deltaros, you can make a new number 91 Thunderspark Dragon. We're just getting this. It says you can detach 3 materials from this card, destroy all other face-up monsters on the field. Very, very good. We won't be using the 5 material effect almost ever. Violent by Sigma is another very good one. It's a relinquished-like effect. You can suck up a target. And then just 3 regular 2 material rank 4s, just very good ones. Diamond Dire, Black Ship of Corn, and Gagaga Samurai. So this is kind of where the rest of the deck comes in. We were playing 1 Star Seraph Scout. The new TCG didn't play this, but I just figure since we have Battle and Boxer Veil. Oh, also, there was just an emergency ban list with this card. It now went to 3, just to prevent it from being used with Invoked, which is very nice. It was a very good call from them. It's still kind of degenerate, so we're going to be playing it. It's a rank 4. We're playing Destiny Draw with this deck as well, just so we can draw our missing stick or chair piece. So if Battle and Boxer Veil lives, since we only have 3 zones, I figured I'd play 1 Scout as well, because this is basically a searchable tin goldfish. When you normal summon it, you can special a Star Seraph from your hand. So if you have Veil on the field and you can trigger D-Draw, go like Scout, Summon Scepter, search a chair, and now you have 3 monsters to use. And that's where Star Seraph Scepter's other effect comes in. When it's Xyz summoned being used as material for a 3 material rank 4 monster, you can target the Xyz monster that you summon gains an effect that becomes you can target one other card on the field, destroy it, and if you do, you can draw a card. So when you summon Deltaros using Scepter, Deltaros has a clause where while it has Xyz material, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you normal or special summon monsters. So when you summon Deltaros, he can't be floodgated. And your opponent can't activate anything when he's summoned. And then since Scepter gives an effect on summon that destroys and draws a card, your opponent cannot respond to that effect either. So that's why Scepter becomes really good when used with Deltaros, because you essentially just get a pop and a draw for free that cannot be responded to. And then say for instance you summon Deltaros, use that effect, and then you normal summon something else like a Scout, and then you special summon Chair from your hand. Your opponent cannot respond to those either. And if you Xyz using those 2 materials, your opponent can't respond to that either, because you're still summoning monsters, and Deltaros says your opponent can't respond to them while it has Xyz material. But as soon as you perform a different action other than summoning, like say your opponent has toggle on and you set a back row, then they can respond. So as soon as you do anything other than summon, your opponent can like Fiendish Chain the Deltaros, or Karma Cut the Deltaros. Like you go Deltaros effect to detach a material and pop a card, and now they can respond to it because you're not summoning. So Deltaros's clause doesn't apply anymore. So yeah, deck's pretty straightforward. Just 8 hand traps to trigger D-draw, 7 Star Seraph monsters, 2 lands just to kind of protect them from interruption, and then 3 Karma Cut just because Karma Cut is busted. So that's a cool little deck that I'm going to be trying out. Destiny Draw to trigger, draw your missing piece. Yeah, so moving on, I have a pure Satellarknight variant and also a Star Seraph Satellarknight variant. So we are also getting in the new box Dark Tellarknight Battlamias. This card is very good because it allows you to make Deltaros with only 2 monsters on the field, which has always been kind of the issue. Like, Tellars have easily been able to get 2 monsters on the field with Altair or Vega, but the 3rd monster is what they struggled with because you had to have Altair and Vega to get 3 monsters on the field, or you had to have a monster live from the previous turn, just so you could like have that monster on the field and then go Altair or Vega just to get the other 2. But now Dark Tellar fixes that because all it requires is 2 level 4 Tellarknight monsters. It has a clause where all face-up monsters on the field become dark. It's not really too relevant, but I guess it can come up sometimes to kind of like interrupt your opponent as a floodgate. It's 26 beat stick, so it is bigger than Deltaros. It says you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and discard 1 card, any card. Special summon from your extra deck 1 light Tellarknight Xyz monster by using this face-up card you control as the Xyz material. Also, you cannot Xyz summon other monsters for the rest of this turn. This effect can be activated during either player's turn if you have 7 or more Tellarknight monsters with different names in the graveyard. That's not very important. We're just going to be using it to, say we go Altair summon Deneb, we get a search. Now we can Xyz with Altair and Deneb into Dark Tellarknight Battlamias. Use its effect to detach probably Deneb. And then we can discard the card we searched, or we can discard anything else. And now we get to make a Satellarknight or a Stellarknight Deltaros just with 2 Tellarknight monsters. So the deck flows much better now. Skybridge becomes better because it will always get us Deltaros if we have Deneb or Unukalhai. So the play with Skybridge and Unuk is you go Unuk, send Deneb, Skybridge, target Unuk. Now you get to summon Altair and shuffle Unuk back into the deck. Altair will target Deneb, summon Deneb. Deneb will search probably another Altair, and then you can Xyz with Deneb and the Altair into Dark Tellarknight Battlamias, and then discard any card to summon Deltaros. And now just off of these 2 cards, you made a Deltaros. Whereas before you had to have Unukalhai, Skybridge, and Altair, so that when you dumped something, you would go Skybridge, summon Vega, summon Altair, summon back whatever you dumped. So that was like a 3-card combo to make Deltaros, but now all we need is Vega and Unukalhai. So that is very solid. We can also do the combo with Deneb and Skybridge. However, we lose an extra card because we search with Deneb and then we summon, we go Skybridge, summon Vega to summon what we searched with Deneb. And then we have to discard any other card in our hand, so we don't really get that advantage with Deneb, but the combo is doable to make Deltaros. And it's very solid still to do. It's definitely should still be done if you have the Nova as well, Stellar Nova Alpha, because you get the tribute Deltaros, negate an effect, draw a card, and then Deltaros effect engrave, summon Altair, you can summon back Deltaros or Deneb to get another search. So even though you go minus with the Deneb Skybridge combo, you just go so plus off of the Alpha Deltaros interaction that that's definitely worth doing. Also in the box we are getting Omega and Ptolemy M7. So Omega just requires 2 level 4 light monsters that we can do. We can detach a material during either player's turn to make all Constellar monsters you currently control unaffected by spell traps. So that's pretty cool. So we can summon him and then make him unaffected by anything that would target him. Or we can just overlay Constellar Ptolemy M7 on top of Omega. And M7 is pretty cool. Its effect is good, except we can't use it during the turn we use this effect to Xyz over any Constellar Xyz. But it has an effect where you can detach a material once per turn to target 1 monster on the field or in either player's graveyard and return it to the hand. So it's very solid. It can either recur your own materials or just kind of serve as a 1 target Brionek and just bounce a monster your opponent controls. But again, if we overlay on top of Constellar Omega using its claws, built-in claws, we can't use its effect the same turn. But it's still good to keep in mind. So 2 Battlamias, 2 Deltaros, 1 Omega, 1 Ptolemy. You don't have to play this. I would still play Black Ship of Corn just because Winda is a pain in the ass. Spiritual Beast, Tamer Winda. because we cannot out what's it called, the ulti Petalfin very easily, because there's a 2800 defense that can't be destroyed by card effects, so we can't destroy it with Deltaros, we can't beat over it with Deltaros. So playing Black Ship of Corn to just be able to send it to the graveyard is very good, so we should be playing that as well. And then we just have Karma Cut and the one super team Buddy Force. This is just called the Haunted essentially, but you have to have a warrior on the field to be able to summon a warrior from your hand to grave. So a little bit more conditional than Call the Haunted, but still very solid, very aesthetically pleasing deck. 331, 331. So moving on, so we have, there you go, 30 card, Star Seraph, Tellers. Now, I'm playing 30 cards with this just because, or like the theory behind this deck is that Stick Chair gives a very easy Deltaros, as well as all of your Skybridge, Deneb, Unu, Cowhide combos on top. All of those add up to Deltaros, and that is kind of the name of the game with this. It's okay if you're playing 30 cards, because if you resolve Stick Chair, you're drawing 3 cards turn 1, which gives you a much better chance of seeing your trap cards in your back row. And it just gives you more resources in general. You're playing this with the restart, most likely, because you want to restart for your Stick Chair combos, or just your Skybridge combos in general, just to give you an even more percentage chance of seeing those turn 1 Deltaros combos. So you have the 3 Nova, 3 Karma, and then 2 Buddy Force in this. You have 3 Skybridge, and then 2 Lance, 2 Cyclone, just to give you 7 spells and traps to make, or 7 spells, and then up at least 7 traps to use restart with. Then you have the Stick Chair combo, 3 Deneb, 3 Unuke, because you're playing 3 of these because you just want to see them with Skybridge, 2 Altair, 1 Vega. You can maybe cut, like, if you wanted to play 3 Altair, you could cut like a Buddy Force for it, but overall this deck just kind of combines the 2 ideas of Stick Chair and Tellers, just to give you even more ways to make Deltaros. So you have Stick Chair, Deneb, Skybridge, or Unuke's Skybridge. Or like worst case scenario, you can just go Deneb, search Altair, set some traps. Like you can still do that, or you can go Scepter, search Chair, set some traps. Like it still flows pretty well, even if you don't open the Deneb combo. You still can play normal Satellars kind of. Super Team, you can target Scepter and Chair with each other to use with Super Team, so it's not like you can't use Stick or Chair with any of the Tellers and vice versa, because it only can summon the same type. But you can still use these with each other. So Dex flows very well. I might try this as well, but you can play the 20 card variant or just the pure Seraph. You don't have to combine them if you don't want. It might be too bricky, mainly Chair being the kind of the brick point, but like the pure power of this combo, it offsets the potential of it bricking, I feel. So that's another idea there. Moving on to Hieratics. So we have this rank 8 variant, which kind of focuses on making Hieratic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. What a name. So the new cards we are getting Hieratic Dragon of Tefnuit. This is basically Cyber Dragon. If your opponent controls the monsters and you don't, you can special summon this. And then if it's tributed, you get to summon a dragon normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, but make its attack and defense 0. So this is a very easy way to summon your Hieratic Seal of the Sun Dragon Overlord. So you can tribute it with either by summoning Sue. Sue can summon itself by tributing a Hieratic Dragon, which will then trigger your effect to summon Labradorite, or a Hieratic Seal of the Sun Dragon Overlord. Ideally, you want to be making Labradorite if you tribute with Sue, so you can make Atum and summon another one from deck. But if you tribute with Legendary Maju Garzette, whatever you want to say, this card is easily summoned by tributing all monsters you control, so you can just go summon Tefnuit, Esset, or Gebeb. And you also have 3 Hieratic Seal of Convocation. This is new. All it does is search a Hieratic monster. You can tribute any of these with Garzette to summon Overlord after you tribute one of these, and then you'll have 2 level 8s to easily make your Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. Just a quick 2-card combo. Overall, I don't think the deck is too great. You have Sue to pop back row, but that's about it. Like other than just like these monsters to tribute with, you're just kind of playing like beatdown. Because like if you don't have a way to tribute these cards, then you just don't. Like technically you have 9 tribute cards and 12 monsters to tribute, so like it flows very well, but like all you're making is a rank 4 or an Exceeds play with this. So you can make a rank 6 or a rank 8, which is kind of really all you can do every turn. So it's like consistently doing that every turn, but it's easily interrupted, so I don't think is that great. We are getting Hieratic Seal of Banishment as well. This is like a Ballista squad that banishes. tribute a Hieratic, target one card your opponent controls, banish it. So you lose 2 to banish 1, but whatever you tribute will summon a normal dragon. So like technically you're gaining that advantage back, but all you're gaining is a normal dragon with 0 attack, 0 defense. So it's not the best, but it can do some stuff. So that's a very simple build. I mean, it's very straightforward. Not much to explain there. This build is a little bit better maybe, but a little bit more controversial. It is playing the Alistair package, simply because there is a level 6 normal fire dragon that we can use, which obviously when you see a fire you think perk. So you have the 3 Hieratic Seal to grab Tefnuit or Esset, which can be easily summoned. Then you can tribute them with Sue. You have 6 Sues basically and 9 monsters to tribute. So the combo is you go summon a monster that can be tributed, tribute summon for Sue, and then whatever you tribute will summon Labradorite. Then you can overlay both of those for it'll summon a Tyhone. You can overlay both of those for Atom, detach the Tyhone to activate Atom's effect to summon Labradorite from deck. You can normal summon Alistair the Invoker, search your invocation, and synchro with Labradorite and Alistair for a level 10 synchro, which is a 3k beatstick DDD monster here. And then you have invocation with Tyhone and Alistair and Grave, so you end with a field of Atum, Purgatorio, and Alexander. Pretty nice overall. Or if you don't see the Alistair, you can just go like Atum, summon like any Hieratic Seal or any Hieratic Dragon monster that you can tribute, and set like the trap card here. So that's kind of an interruption there, but like overall the deck is just kind of like an OTK deck that is easily interrupted again. So overall I don't think the Hieratic stuff is going to do too much, because we don't have like Red Eyes Darkness Metal. We can't combo too well because there's no cards to end on. There's no negates, no nothing. So overall the deck is just meh. I guess technically you can also summon Dragon Spirit of White with Atum, which is kind of cool to banish back rows, but that might be worth considering, but I don't think so. So that's the Hieratics there. We've gone over new Tellarknights and Star Seraphs. So let's get in. Whoop, I guess I did not save this deck. Give me 1 second. Alright, so now we're going to get into our Rescue Rabbit deck. Evilswarms, I feel, is probably the best deck to use Rabbit with. You can technically use Rabbit with Dinos, but you don't have any of the Evilswarm Xyz to make, so it's not the best. Like, you can go Rabbit, summon 2 Megalo Smashers. You can make, since they're both water, you can make Hope, Woven, Dragon, Spider, Shark, technically. But overall, you're just making rank 4s with Rabbit. And Evilswarm is pretty good, so you can go Rabbit, tribute itself, or not tribute, banish itself to summon 2 Heliotrope here. You can technically play 2 and just add like another trap if you want, but like if you open one of these, you can't resolve Rabbit. So like if you open Rabbit, Heliotrope, you can't resolve Rabbit, and you're just kind of stuck with a dead Rabbit in your hand. Only 2 Rabbit, because you can only resolve 1. Sure, it's great to open, but like overall the deck can you have still 2 extra monsters that normal summon a bunch. But overall, I don't think Evilswarm are that great in Duel Links, because you don't have Ophion. And without, like, Ophion was what made them so good, because Ophion prevented your opponents from summoning level 5 or higher monsters, which in this game would stop your opponent from summoning Neos, any invoked monster besides Caliga. Your opponent can't summon Desperado. Your opponent can't summon any spiritual beast or any ritual beast fusion. So like Ophion would be busted in this game, but we don't have it. There is a selection box coming, so like I don't want to speculate and say we are getting it, but like Ophion would be a good addition to the deck, to that box. Without Infestation Pandemic though, it is the quick play. Hold on, let me type that in. Infestation Pandemic. This is what you search with Ophion by detaching a material. Ophion searches any infestation, spell, or trap. So this makes all Evilswarm monsters you currently control unaffected by spell or traps. So that's just searchable protection for Ophion. So without that, Ophion is a little bit worse. It's still good because there's still a floodgate, but we still have Infestation Infection, which is kind of like a personal spoofing for those who play the TCG. You can shuffle 1 Evilswarm monster from your hand or face up from your side of the field into the main deck, add 1 Evilswarm monster from your deck to your hand. So this can search your missing pieces every turn, grab you some Kirkions and Castor, whatever you need, or shuffle back your Heliotropes so that you can resolve Rabbit, something like that. So like you can add this if you want, but like without Ophion, the deck isn't too great. You're just kind of making rank 4s with a bunch of back row, which other decks can do better. So Unfortunate. We also are getting on the counterpart Constellars in this game, which is really cool. They're all very similar. So Constellar Pollux gives you another normal summon just like Evilswarm Caster. Constellar Sombre gives you additional normal summon just like Kyrkion. You banish a Constellar, target a Constellar in the grave, add it to your hand, and then you can activate the following effect to get an additional normal summon. So exactly the same as Kyrkion, just kind of, I think they have swapped stats. Or like slightly different stats. Kaus is kind of cool. This is a little bit different. So whereas Evilswarm would play the Heliotrope with Rabbit, we get to play Kaus, which can twice per turn target a Constellar you control and either increases level by 1 or reduces level by 1. So this allows us to make, like, if we go Pollux summon Kaus, we can go Kaus target itself and Pollux to make them level 5. And now we can overlay for Zenmayo, something like that, to detach a material and target 2 set cards on the field. Or we can reduce their levels by 1 to make a Zen Mains, which is very good against Cyber Dragon because that is 2100 defense. It can't be destroyed, or if it would be destroyed, you get attached material instead. So this is kind of like a wall against Cyber Dragon. It's pretty solid. Algieti just special summons a Constellar from the hand, so if you open like this and Kaus, you can still special Kaus and make a rank 4 that way. It's basically just an extra Pollux, except it's special summons. So, and then your traps, you have Karma Cut, which is the best trap of the format, without a doubt. Floodgate, they get to play Constellar Meteor, which is a little cool. This makes your cards. I don't know what the comparison is, but during the turn this card is activated, if an opponent's monster battles against Stellar monster, and the opponent's monster is not destroyed, shuffle it into the deck at the end of the damage step. So, very good removal. It can deal with like Ulti Petalfin very easily. You can just crash into an Ulti Petalfin and then shuffle it back into the extra deck. Pretty cool. Or you can just, like, if you have one of these little monsters here, you can crash into a window, shuffle it back. These doesn't have to be mirror walls. Like, all these traps are just, like, Karma Cut is the only one I'd say that is mandatory. You have, like, all these other spots to fill. But overall, it's just another mediocre rank 4 deck. I think Tellars do it better because Tellars have their Omni Negate and the majority of their support. So I think Tellar is the rank 4 deck to go to at the moment. Especially with all the Star Seraph engine. Technically, I guess you could splash Star Seraphs in a lot of these rank 4 decks and just try and make them like upwards of 30 cards. So that's an ideal idea if you so choose. And now finally, moving on to digital bugs. So I didn't know what these did really, but they're kind of cool. So when they're changed from face-up attack position to defense position, they get their effect. And when they're used as Xyz material, they give the Xyz monster an effect as well. So kind of similar to Star Seraphs, I guess, in that engine, in that instance, Star Seraphs Scepter gives an additional effect to whatever you Xyz with. So Centibit is the best one. When it's changed from attack to defense, it summons a digital bug from deck. So it's definitely the best one. And then when it's used as a material, it gives the Xyz monster an effect that it can attack all defense position monsters your opponent controls once each. So what we're going to be using is Earthquake to trigger that. So we're using Earthquake to change everything to defense. So that's a -1, but we'll be getting like Centibit to summon from deck to get a +1, or Cocoon Denser to summon from grave. So it's worse. It requires more setup, but it gives a cool effect where if this card, the Xyz monster that uses it, if it attacks a defense position monster, your opponent can activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So whatever it overlays into becomes an Armades when it attacks a defense position monster. Web Solder is like, it summons from hand, which is mediocre, but the effect it gives the Xyz is very good. If it's Xyz summoned, the defense of all face-up monsters your opponent controls becomes 0, and then you also change them to defense position. So it becomes a Curse of Anubis, essentially, when you use it as an Xyz material. So that kind of warrants playing 3 of it. Ideally, you want to open Centibit. But like if you open Centibit, Web Solder with Earthquake, obviously you're going to use Centibit and summon Web Solder from deck instead of using Web Solder to summon Centibit from hand. Obviously, you want to get the +1 from deck when you can. Bug Signal is kind of cool. It's a rank up, essentially. You target insect Xyz you control, special summon from your extra deck one insect monster that is 2 ranks higher or lower than that monster you control. So that is how you're going to be getting into your... so you'll be making Scar Radiator always, and then you can Bug Signal into Corbage, or if you see the second Bug Signal, you can Bug Signal into Rhinoceros. They're all pretty cool. So what they do is Scar Radiator allows you to detach 2 materials from it, target 1 monster your opponent controls, changes its battle position until the end of this turn. Its effects are negated. And then once per turn, when this card destroys an opponent's monster of a battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can attach that destroyed monster to this card as Xyz material. So like against like Ulti Pedalfin, you can change it to attack, negate its effects, and then beat over it, and so it'll take 16, and then you can attach it as material, which is really nice. So that isn't out to Pedalfin that way. You can beat over a Winda and attach it as material, but they will still get Winda's effect because it was destroyed and sent to the graveyard. So like maybe you won't want to do that. It depends, because most of the time Winda will be face down anyway. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't have to target face up, so I read that wrong. So they can still deal with Winda that way, I guess, technically. Corbage is cool. So you can also Xyz summon it without Bug Signal by detaching 2 Xyz materials from a rank 3 or 4 insect type Xyz you control, then using that Xyz monster as the Xyz material. And then once per turn, you can attach an Xyz material from this card and target 1 defensive position monster your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. So you'll make like Scar Radiator using Web Solder and anything else. Web Solder effect will give the effect to Scar Radiator to change all monsters your opponent controls to defense position and reduce their defense to 0. And then you can detach 2 materials from the Scar Radiator to summon the Corbage, and the Corbage effect will detach material to shuffle back one of the monsters you changed to defense position. So that's a cool combo right there. So now you have the Rhinoceros. It has piercing. You can also, technically you can detach 2 materials from a rank 5 or 6 insect, but if you summon Corbage using its effect, you'll only have 1 material under it anyway. So like you can either Bug Signal into Corbage and then detach to summon Rhinoceros, or you can use detach to summon Corbage and then Bug Signal into Rhinoceros. But you can't use both of their effects to Xyz easily because you won't have the materials. So it has piercing, and then once per turn during either player's turn, you can attach a Xyz material from this card, destroy the face-up monster your opponent controls with the highest defense. So it's a smashing ground, quick effect smashing ground. Pretty nice indeed. The deck flows pretty well. I mean, I have a Neos variant that I think is a little bit better. You just have the Curse of Anubis, which is a trap card. It's a little slow, but it does trigger your monsters because it switches your own to defense. You have Bug Emergency, which is kind of like a Godam's emergency call. You target 2 level 3 Xyz or 2 level 3 insect type monsters in your graveyard. Special summon them, but their effects are negated. So just 2 free special summons, which is good late game, which is why you only really play 1 of it. But their effects are negated, so you can banish this card and 1 Xyz monster from the graveyard. The levels of all level 3 insect type monsters you currently control become equal to the banished monster's rank. So you can banish like a Corbage, change all level 3 monsters to level 5, and then easily overlay into Corbage. So even though you only play level 3s, you can pretty easily access these rank 5 and 7 monsters. So that's the deck. There is a Neos variant that's slightly different. You're playing Neos Fusion to send AD Changer, which allows you to easily change your monsters to defense instead of Earthshake. So you get a Brave Neos on top of your rank 3 monster essentially. So you're still playing the Floodgate and Karma and Bug Emergency and the Bug Signals. You just change the Earthquakes and one of the traps for the Neos package here. So that's going to do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. A lot to cover. Pretty big box. I think it's going to be pretty impactful. We shall see. Kind of depends what the selection box brings. There's like a couple of options. They can give us Evilswarm Ophion. They could give us Satellarknight Trevere. They could give us like another staple trap or something, like a Storming Mirror Forest or something like that, maybe. Kind of just like I'm trying to think of like what they're releasing now that they can give support for. I guess they could give like a cool 3 material rank 4 to support the Star Seraph engine, something like that, or like a draw card maybe, or something to support Blue Eyes. I'm not sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.